good, everybody? It's your boy Matthew Maley for MatthewMaley.com. Well, as I promised, I was going to be hitting up as many sessions of poker as is physically possible or that my bankroll would allow. So, well, I was able to go out and play some and want to do another recap. I'll tell you right now, it's actually going to be a pretty short recap because I only played for about 3.5 hours. But I'll get into that and why and all that subsequently, I guess you could say. So, for those of you who don't know, the CES show, which I believe is the Consumer Electronics something conference, is in town, which is the who's who of all, I mean, anything that has to do with electronics is here. From eBay to Best Buy to Radio Shack to, I mean, companies I've never even heard of. They're all here. So I figured, you know, a lot of those people, after going to the conference all day, are going to want to blow off some money in the poker room. And actually, got to give a shout out to my boy Marco, previously of quadjacks.com. You guys might remember when he interviewed me for his website a couple years back at the World Series. And really a fun video, fun interview. My first full official on video interview. So shout out to Marco. Got to get another one. But he actually mentioned, you know, that the Venetian room would be really popping since most of the people are staying at the Venetian. Well, a lot of them are. So thought that would be a really, you know, good option. So I decided, you know what, let's head on down there. Haven't played at the Venetian in a while. Last time I even played at the Venetian was for like a 1.5 years ago's Deep Stack Extravaganza. That was the last time that I actually played at the Venetian. Which is surprising because I really like the Venetian. The Venetian poker room is one of my favorite rooms on the Strip. It's just, you know, I've gotten so comfortable playing at Planet Hollywood that that's just where I go. So, or, you know, the couple times that I've changed it up after the series was just the Aria. So, decided, you know, we're going to go play some at the Venetian and see how everything went. So, typical me, I got a super late start. Didn't even get to the game until probably about 10 o'clock. Got into the 1-2 game, bought in for three bills, and noticed I was sat between two CES people. And you knew that there was a lot of money floating around because there was more working girls in the Venetian than I've ever seen. I swear, every single guy that had a little hang tag around his neck had like 4 different working women talking to him. So when I sat down in between and saw these 2 guys with hang tags, I felt pretty good. And then when I watched this one guy, who was the essence of a calling station, triumphantly flip over Jack 9 offsuit on a board of like Ace, King, King, like 8-4, thinking that he'd won something, I knew I was in a good spot. So ended up, probably the first hand I actually played, I picked up 9 Jack suited. Got Jack 9 suited a lot, actually, surprisingly. But ended up on the, well, I very first hand I played was no big deal. I just called a raise and mucked it after the flop. I don't even remember what it was, but I posted, so it was like an extra $10, so I called that. The standard raise between 10 and between 12 and 15 at this table, so a lot of money was getting jammed into the pot. But the very first hand I played was the Jack 9 suited. I believe it was of clubs, was this one, and flopped a 9, but I flopped middle pair. It was a Queen 9 blank. So I check called the whole way down, and the guy ended up having pocket 10s. So that was a little bit of a costly hand. I dropped probably about 60 in that hand. So I'm down to about 240 or so. And the hand that really got, well actually before that hand that got it back, I picked up a hand of pocket trays, raised it pre-flop, got 2 callers, but then the flop came out Ace, Queen 4, turn 4, and it was checked all the way on the flop. Then on the turn, this guy bet at it. I should have called. It was only 15 because on the river a 3 hit, so I would have had a boat with, you know, trays full of 4s, but I didn't call. Guy ended up having an ace, so that would have been a pretty nice hand. But I raised with the hand that got me back up close to 300. I had ace king. And there were two people at the table that I played with before. So one was this older guy, and he was a pretty solid player. I don't remember if I played with him at the series or what, but I know I played with him before. And he was somebody that when I sat down, I kind of decided I didn't want to go after him. You know, there was enough dead money at the table between these two guys and a couple other players that weren't that great that I really wanted to aim for them and stay away from this guy because I knew he was a good player. But I ended up picking up ace queen, 2 off the button, and 2 people had called. Comes around to me, and I raise. I raise it up to 13, if I'm not mistaken. Ends up going around to him. He calls. Everybody else mucks. So now, like I said, I've got ace, queen, offsuit, ace of clubs, queen of spades. Flop comes up. Flop was 8, 8, 7, 4, rainbow. All right. So he checks to me. I bet, I want to say 16, 18, somewhere in there, and he calls. A little scary, I admit it, but I'm still feeling all right with it. Turn card hits a jack. All right, still feeling, you know, I mean, I'm going to take another shot at it because I don't think that my ace queen's going to stand up. But at the same time, I mean, what are my options? If he has 9, 10 here, I'm dead. So, again, he checks to me. Again, I take a shot at it. This time I bet like 26. And he calls. Ugh, that's all I gotta say. River card hits a king. Now, I didn't necessarily think that this was a great bluff card for me. You know, I mean, technically, I could have had a hand like ace king, and I hit the king on the river there. But I didn't feel that that would be, you know... I didn't bet it hoping that he would believe that as a scare card. Let's put it that way. So I ended up, he checks to me again, and I bet 45. And he thinks about it for a little while, thinks about it for a little while, thinks about it for a little while, and finally ends up letting it go. Don't know what he had, but ended up, you know, taking down a good, probably close to $100 pot. So that got me right back up to about 300-ish. So then, I pick up one of the most beautiful things you can see in poker ever, and that is 2 cowboys. And pocket kings are just a beautiful hand. I've had so much better luck with pocket kings than I ever had with pocket aces, or any other pocket pair for that matter. So anytime I see pocket kings, I get a little happy. So look down, 2 black kings, which I love the black ones more because, well, they just look cooler. And no, that is not a racial thing, because now I'm sure I'm going to get like Jesse Jackson coming after me because I said the black ones look cooler. So, cool out. But, so I got the 2 black kings, and sure enough, like 4 people called before. So I'm like, I gotta get a raise in here. I'm not trying to have somebody limp in with an ace, call me down, I get screwed. So 4 people had called. I raise it up to 16. Big raise, but still, with 4 people having already called, I thought it was pretty, you know, solid of a raise. So I